Hi guys, Daniel here with another AWS book review. This time I'm going to be talking about the Amazon Web Services for Dummies from the Wiley brand. Honestly, I like very much all the Dummies for Dummies collection. Every time I want to learn something new, I always take a look to the Dummies to understand what everything is about. So this is a particular example of if you want to learn about cloud computing or Amazon Web Services and AWS, this book is going to be very easy to understand and to give you the first basis of what it's about the book. So the book has four parts and it has 14 chapters. So let's take a look to each part. So basically the first part is going to be all about the getting started with AWS. So it's going to be what's about AWS, the introduction with the AWS APIs, and the introduction to the AWS Management Console. So it's going to be the first chapter of the part one. So it's mainly to understand what is cloud computing, what is the AWS infrastructure, what is the AWS ecosystem, how do you work with the APIs and the basic understanding of the APIs and the API security, and finally all the setting up of the account and the services regarding the S3 buckets and the URL naming conversion of AWS. Then on part two, you will have the setting up of the AWS storage, the stretching out of Elastic Cloud Computing, the AWS networking, and the AWS security. Also the additional core AWS services. So basically it's going to be everything regarding how do you work with AWS, so how do you set up your storage, how do you work with S3 buckets, how do you work with EBS, which is the Elastic Bucket Storage, how do you work with the scaling key for DynamoDB, and the best way to select the AWS storage that you are going to need, and also or everything with the Elastic Cloud Computing, EC2. You are going to understand what is EC2, what it's all about EC2, and with the networking, so the networking for the IP addressing and the IP address mapping, the direct content, the Elastic IP, and the instance metadata. And finally, all with the security points that you need to understand. So how is the security boundaries that you need to understand, the security groups, the basic of security, the best practices for security, the VPC, which is the AWS Virtual Private Cloud, and the application security, and more additional core services from AWS, which are going to be the CloudFront, the relational database RDS, the Elastic Cache, integrating additional AWS service in your application and choosing the right way to approach your, your integration with AWS. Then on part three, it's going to be a little of examples of how to use AWS. So it's going to have the AWS platform service. How do you use cloud search, managing video compression, the simple queue service, simple notifications, simple email, workflow. So it's going to be a very basic apps that you can use from the AWS services. Then you will have all the management services regarding the management of your application. How do you use the service that you should use. Then how do you manage all the AWS cost parts of the cloud? So how is everything the cost that you need to understand for the services that you pay for AWS? How do you take advantage of this code utilization? How do you manage your cost, and finally, how do you bring everything together into an AWS application? So it's going to have a little example of how do you put all these pieces of the basic infrastructure of the AWS into your application. And the final part is going to be the part of the 10. So this is a very interesting chapter because it gives you 10 reasons for many things to understand AWS. So for example, in this chapter, it gives you 10 reasons to use AWS Web Services. So how do you provide the agility, the business agility, the rich ecosystems, the IT operations, the globe, the leading cloud computing services, the innovation, the cost effective, how do you align your organization with the future of technology, and if it's good for your career. And also then give you the 10 design principles for cloud applications, so everything that you need to know, uh, everything fails all the time, the redundancy protect against resource failure, the graphic distribution against the infrastructure failure, how do you monitor, how do you utilize the application management for optimization, the security design, the encryption, the database increase for efficiency, and the good applications architect for prevents technical debt. So, as I told you, this is a very, very basic book. This is mainly for new people who wants to understand and who wants to learn a little bit cloud computing, and in this world of cloud computing, what is AWS and Amazon Web Services. So it's a very, very highly recommended book. As I told you, I like very much the For Dummies series. So if you want to learn, or if it's going to be the first approach that you will have with Amazon Web Services and AWS, I highly recommend this book. I'm going to leave the link of the book so you can buy it on Amazon below in the description. So let me know how do you find this book, if it's interesting to read, and if you learn something about this. And see you on the next video. Bye bye.